Hey guys, today we are gonna do a tower defense simulator tier list. Since the update just came out, and I'm probably gonna do some new videos. I haven't made any in a while. I still deleted a few of my videos because they are probably just, either I didn't like the quality of them or I disagree with them now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the tier list. Hold on, I gotta add a couple tiers. For some reason there's a couple there's no D or E tier. So let me fix that real quick. And then we will start the tier list. I have a pretty basic opinion for the most part. Okay, let's start. So first we got the Scout. Scout is the starter tower. And he's actually not that bad for a starter tower, but his stats are just useless. Once you get soldier as a noob, you don't need him. You don't ever need to use him. So there's no point of using him until you get the golden version. After you get soldier. Sniper has the same DPS as Scout. Cost like almost 3 times as much. And like it literally is the same DPS as Scout. It costs 3 times the price. And waste stranger spots, which makes it the worst tower in the game, honestly. Paintball is the second worst tower in the game, but at least it has actual DPS, and splash damage is not the worst thing I have. But next up we got Soldier. Soldier is definitely the best noob tower, and this is the tower you should definitely get at as soon as you can, as if you're new to the game. Do not get Paintballer. He's a waste of money. And next up is Demo Man, also a waste of money, but he is barely better than Scout. He's slightly better than Scout. Next is Freezer, which is a really underrated tower. Freezer is one of the most pretty underrated D tier. Most people put him in the bottom 5. I had him in my bottom 5 until I noticed that he had defense melting. And yeah, it's not that useful, and it gets outclassed by towers like Electroshocker. But it at least has some use. And then Militant got a rework. I think it's a buff. It makes him more reliable early game, but he still is he's basically just a more reliable soldier. And I do like him. He's pretty cool now. I do wish he had more ammo or something. But now he's actually a decent tower. Farm definitely an S tier. No need to question that. Pyromancer would probably be in the D or E tier. But at the moment, it's actually a C tier. Specifically for the event. Like the Frost Invasion event, you need Pyro, I'm pretty sure. Even if you don't need it, it's still a really convenient tower to have. They did buff him, I'm pretty sure. So that's good. So at least, and I kind of lowballed him in my originally when I did my top 5 worst towers. So I did. Now I think he's a much better tower than I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and put Gold Pyro with him, since it's just the same tower with even more range. Commander is definitely the best tower in the game. So think of a tower like Ranger or Accelerator or Minigunner or Turret, like any of these high DPS towers. Just think of that, but literally double. Like he basically doubles the DPS of any tower in the game. And that is just super insanely good. And easily makes him the best tower in the game. Next up is Ace Pilot. Ace Pilot is really nice for Hidden Wave and is really fun to use. But outside of Hidden Wave, not Hidden Wave, Hardcore. Outside of Hardcore, you don't really need to use him at all. That's why he stays in the B tier. Medic would probably be up in the B tier too if it was immune to stuns. But it can't use the revive ability if it's stunned, so yeah, that kind of like ruins the whole tower. Next up is the Shotgunner. The main issue with the Shotgunner is that Well, it's not one. It's not going to get all of its bullets unless it's the zombies up real close to it. And at the start, he has pretty bad range. Like 7 range is a pretty bad range. This game has poor logic because shotguns are far-range weapons, but it has 7 range, and the sword has 6 range. That doesn't make much sense, but it's a video game. Next up is the minigunner. Barely, it would be in the S tier, but the main issue is that level 3 and level 4 merged as a one level now, so you can't. So it's kind of not as cost efficient now, I guess. It actually might be cheaper than max now, so it might be more cost efficient at max. And level 0 and level 0, 1, and level 2 are now decent to stop at now. Rocketeer got a rework. Still a terrible tower, the 3rd worst tower in the game by far. It has 8.89 DPS. Yeah, and it costs like $14,000, I think. No, I think it's $12,000. But that's just insane amount of money for how bad he does. He does have a lot of range. That's the only good thing going for him. The only good thing going for him. Next, we got the military base. It is nice for hardcore and can be a good early game tower. That's about it. It's pretty expensive. It's not. It can be nice for mid game, but it's probably just better to spend money on other towers after mid game, because you don't. Railgun tanks are not that reliable, honestly. Next up is DJ. DJ is in the S tier. Now it's not as good as Commander, but hey, if you can get enough stuff in the range of it, like if you can get all 10 Rangers in the range of your DJ, you save more money. Like, this guy is profitable. Like, if you can get all 10 of your Rangers in range of this guy, you can probably save like way more than you spent on this guy. So I do recommend him if you're doing soloing. He's probably replaceable, but he's still a really good tower. Electroshocker, I want to put higher, but for his defense melting, and now that Sledger can freeze Guardians, he's really good for. They are a good combo for Guardians. But the main issue is that he has no DPS. I mean, yeah, it's not meant for DPS, but they should. If they gave him more DPS, he might be up in the A tier. Ranger is the best late game tower and is the 2nd best tower in the game. He is technically a meta. You can probably solo without him, but because Accelerator's now in the game. Speaking of, let's go ahead and rank Accelerator. Accelerator's probably is barely in the S tier. There's no reason to use him over Ranger unless you're using a tower without hidden detection, such as Sledger, Toxic Gunner, like some of those. And if you want to bring DJ, and if you really want to bring DJ, instead of bringing a tower with hidden detection, you can bring Accelerator, but he's still not as reliable as Ranger. Cricket Ball sort of got a buff and a nerf. He technically got buffed since level 2 gives guards now, and level 3 attacks faster, so he has better DPS. And now it's cheaper to get him to his max form. So he is really good. He's pretty good now. He's still not a meta, sadly, but I hope he becomes a meta again one day. Next up is the turret. Turret has 125 DPS. Yeah, higher than Ranger, higher than Minigunner, higher than a lot of towers. I think it has the 2nd highest DPS. I might be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it has the most consistent DPS in the game. Other than, obviously, War Machine, that's an admin tower. But yeah, he is a little bit expensive, and you can only place 5s. So I don't recommend replacing Ranger for him. But he still is a good tower if you don't have Ranger. Mortar is gonna go in the D tier because, well, I mean, he has bad stats just like Rocketeer, but at least he has some use. Level 0 Mortar Spam is actually not the worst thing you can do for early game, but again, after when you get the wave 10, it sucks. Just even if you do use mortars in like a duo or something, you probably want to sell them by wave 10. Because or once your friend can start getting rangers or something, you don't really need them after wave 10. Then you got Pursuit. Pursuit is better, has good stats, but it's too expensive. I mean, not too expensive. The main issue is that level 5, you don't get hidden detection until level 5. Like, that's a lot of money you have to spend to get hidden detection. So, yeah. You can't use him for early game because of that. Because basically he's a sub DPS tower. But I don't know, I just don't like using him as much as Ace. Next up is Cowboy. Cowboy is a good alternative. If you hate farm, he's a good alternative. He did get nerfed pretty hard in the hardcore update, but he still is a good tower. And hey, if you want to ultra green, you can use this guy for you can use farm and Cowboy, and then you'll be able to get rangers really fast. He can also make you get your farms up faster. Still not the best early game tower. Then you got Gladiator, definitely the best early game tower. He's really cost efficient, has 80 DPS at max, not even considering the ability. He's a really efficient tower, and if you have him, definitely use him. I wish I have him, but I do know he's good based off of stats. Commando's next, and Commando's a pretty bad tower. I mean, Commando has good DPS, but he's probably one of the most overpriced towers in the game, other than like Rocketeer and Mortar maybe. And he doesn't really have a use, because he doesn't have hidden detection. His rockets are not reliable at all. And he's not cost efficient or anything. I hope he gets another buff like he did last year. They buffed him really well last year. But I hope he gets another buff soon. I'm pretty sure he's the most common tower. He doesn't really need a buff. He's a dead tower and was from a super easy event. Let's look at Slasher. Slasher, probably the worst D tier tower. I thought he was good. I don't have him. I thought he was good from his stats, but no, he's not good. I don't recommend him. He is the most rare event tower because only 76,000 people won. Yeah, he's more rare than the Gladiator, not considering the Game Pass. No, I don't really know about that. But his event was the least one, is what I'm trying to tell you. Next was Frost Blast. Frost Blast is just a more reliable freezer, I guess. Former, I don't know how to feel about him. He's an okay tower, I guess. The main problem is that you have to rely on the beak grenade. He's not that good without it. Then next up you got Hunter. I think I gave this guy too much hate. He has good DPS, good range. He still has worse DPS than a scout. Is my main issue. Like 3 scouts is around the same price as this guy. And 3 scouts do more DPS. Yeah, but oh my god. So they do more DPS, so you don't really need him. I mean, he has good range, I guess. But still, you don't really want to use him. He doesn't really get good until near the max. And by the time you get max, you don't really want to use him anymore. So here's next up, my most controversial pick, the Archer. I think Archer's an underrated tower. Level 3 Archer is really useful on certain maps. I would have him in the B tier, but he is a little too situational, is the main issue here. So yeah, he's gonna be stuck in the top of C tier. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for that, but hey, it's my opinion. You could say it's inaccurate, but it's a tier list. Tier lists are subjective, so deal with it. Feel free to disagree if you want, though. Gold Cowboy makes money faster, has more damage, and more range. Yeah, he costs more. Well, all that easily makes up for it. Golden Crook Boss does 40% more damage and does not have a price increase, which is really impressive. Makes him really useful. And then again, Golden Minigunner barely misses out on the S tier, sadly. But then you have Golden Scout, right here, the second best early game tower. And he is a really good tower. He has 20 DPS at max, and he costs about $4,000. So that isn't the greatest, but that's like $200 DPS. So that's actually pretty good. Golden Soldier is pretty hated. I think he's a good tower, and it's more effective than you notice. Trust me. Then you got Toxic Gunner. Toxic Gunner would probably be in the S tier if you had hidden detection, because then you can't deal with Ranger if you want. If you're gonna use this guy, you have to get rid of DJ, which yeah, you don't really need DJ. Ranger, you have to replace him with Accelerator for hidden detection. But I'd rather, unless you're dueling, I just don't recommend using him. Sledger has the same problem. He would probably be a competitor, the Gladiator, if it wasn't for the fact that he had no hidden detection. But yeah, that's the whole tier list. So let's go over it again. In the F tier, we have Sniper and Paintballer. In the E tier, we have Dumo Man, Scout, Hunter, Rocketeer. In the D tier, we have Medic, Mortar, Frost Splasher, Freezer, Commando, and Slasher. In the C tier, we have Crook Boss, Archer, Militant, Golden Soldier, Golden Pyromancer, and Pyromancer. In the B tier, we have Ace Pilot, Military Base, Pursuit, Golden Cowboy, Normal Cowboy, Electroshocker, Golden Crook Boss, Shotgunner, and Swarmer. These three tiers are pretty controversial, I'm gonna say. A tier, we have Turret, Sledger, Toxic Gunner, Golden Scout, Minigun, and Golden Minigun. And then in the S tier, we have Accelerator, DJ Booth, Gladiator, Farm, Ranger, and then the best tower in the game for sure is Commander. Now, I was originally probably gonna have Commander in second place because, again, he's useless on his own. He can't do anything on his own. Like, yeah, he has 20 DPS. Like, do you really want to use him? Like, you can't use him on his own, basically. Yeah. So you need a good tower for it to be good. And like, even with bad towers, like, doubling the DPS of a paintballer is still really effective, and that would probably bring him up like a tier or two, if that would actually stuck with him. And then even with fast towers, like, you can use them on a minigunner, because if you didn't know about the ROF bug, it adds 0.03 fire rate to every tower, which basically has the DPS of Minigunner and Accelerator, so you can use this as a way to give them their original DPS. Yeah, I know, that's kind of sad, but it still will help. And like, think of a Ranger, he attacks every 3.53 seconds. If you have that, you'll have 1.78 seconds to attack, which means he has like 170 DPS. That's pretty good. So yeah, here's my tier list. I really hope you can comment down below your any opinions, because I really would hope to talk to some people in my comments, but please be nice about it. If you hate the opinion, if you hate the tier list, Just say what you don't like about it. Don't say, oh, it's wrong or it's inaccurate when tier lists are subjective. Just remember that if you disagree. But just please enjoy. Just let me know if you liked the video or if you have an opinion to make. Just don't start a comment war or anything. I will just delete your comment if you're gonna be rude about it. Yeah, no, boo rude. I don't really care. So just enjoy the video. I hope you agree, and goodbye.